and the solar photovoltaic system. The photovoltaic system converts sunlight directly to electrical power. It is silent, has no moving parts, requires very little maintenance, doesn't pollute the environment, and costs nothing to run. Since complicated support technology is not necessary, it is the ideal power source for isolated areas where getting parts and trained technicians is very difficult, if not impossible. There are other advantages as well. Flexibility is one of them. If initially only a few lights or a television or radio will be run, then only a small system is needed. Later on, if more power is needed to run more equipment or pump water, the system can be easily enlarged. As the sources of energy become less available and much more expensive, power from the sun will become increasingly important, not only in rural areas but in our cities as well. The system is basically a battery charger. When the sun is shining, even on overcast or rainy days, the discs in the solar panel convert the amount of sunlight striking them directly into electrical energy and send that energy through the charge controller to be stored in a large capacity 12-volt battery. When the battery is fully charged, the charge controller turns off the charging circuit. When a TV, lights or other equipment are on, they are run by energy from the battery regulated by the charge controller. The battery's storage capacity is enough to supply energy for 5 to 10 days of normal operation. Each component of the system is simple and dependable. It took space-age technology and the sun's power to bring us this simplicity. And the system is safe. There is no electric shock potential, no fumes or vapors, and no hot surfaces or burners. To date, over 200 of these systems have been installed on Navajo land. Several people who have a system were asked how they felt about it.
Some of my children stay at the school during the week, and when they come home on weekends, they bring homework to do. My other children who stay home with me spend their time drawing and say that the lights are much brighter.
That's the reason why I think that this will save us a lot of expense money, and what we could use a lot to get some kind of things that we like to have, like food, or get more food for my children. So I think it is very best to have this solar electrical system.
People with no photovoltaic system or electricity were asked if they felt that such a system might be of value to them.
It's good the way some people have it. I really want one. I wish I could have one put up on my house. I could have a floodlight installed outside so it wouldn't be dark. If I had a solar energy lighting system, I could use it to work, such as spinning wool, weaving, and sewing. That's what I think, so I really like it. The people I know like their solar energy lighting systems. I come here often and these people have solar. I usually watch TV and the lighting seems much brighter. I really would like to have a solar energy lighting system. If I had a solar energy system, I could get a refrigerator so I can store meat in it. Right now, I try to keep the meat in cool places, but even then it ends up getting spoiled. Maybe someone can assist me with the solar energy system. I really like it.
Yes, I've been United States Marine as the Code Talkers, Navajo Code Talkers, with the 4th Marine and 4th Division. And we sent message in our own language. I see it now with my sister. She got one there, and I sure like it, the solar electric. I go over there, do something, reading or writing letters, or you could stay up late any time we have to, instead of lighting the lamp, that they don't bring out enough light on the lamp. So this is more brighter in this solar electric, and that's what I really like now.
It's easy to see why the photovoltaic system works well for the Navajo Nation. In an area somewhat larger than the state of West Virginia, there are no more utility lines available than would be found in an average town of 20,000 people. Since the population is so sparse, the cost of extending power lines to outlying areas is prohibitive in terms of the number of consumers who can be connected to them in any one location. In the Steamboat area, for instance, only 2 power lines service about 400 square miles. Photovoltaic installations now produce electricity for many isolated families too far from the 2 available power lines. And even if the utility could afford to extend the power lines, the charge to use the electricity would be too high for tribal consumers. For example, wells in Nazlini have been drilled to provide more water to the community. But there is no energy source to pump the water, and the utility has estimated that it will cost about $300,000 to run power cables 12 miles, which is simply not cost-effective. In Steamboat, power was available to a housing project, but the utility, in order to operate, had to levy a high charge to use the power. This was too much for many of the people living there, and they had to ask to be disconnected from the service. In both instances, the photovoltaic system could be used effectively. Since the system is modular and can be easily enlarged for a greater power output, it can be used to pump water on a small or large scale and to provide power to complete housing projects or small villages. The photovoltaic system has already had a great impact on the Navajo people. Being an absolutely clean source of power with no fumes or other types of harmful emissions, it has improved the health and vitality of some of those interviewed. It has the potential for eliminating fires, explosions, and other fuel-related accidents. When the system is used to supply power for refrigerators, food and medications are kept from spoiling. The photovoltaic system provides power for communications, both CB and television, necessary in emergency situations and to keep up with current events and trends. Power for television repeaters to send educational programs to the most remote areas, and light to study and learn by after the sun goes to rest. The photovoltaic system can also improve the Navajos' overall living standard by providing needed water for increased crop irrigation and livestock production.
Before that, we used to just know that the sun will come up and it goes down. And we didn't know anything about that. You know, the sun comes up, and there is a lot of things. There is a power that comes up, you know, that gives us a sun ray, and this solar system now that proves that there is something now that what the sun can do for us. So now that I'm happy that it came around to our community.
The sun has begun to give us power and has come to our community as a friend, the oldest friend the world has ever had. The sun, the power giver.